Richard Rick Trager is an antagonist in OUTLAST. He is an insane variant who experiments on patients in order to gain more knowledge about biology. Prior to his involuntary commitment, Trager was the head of business development at Mount Massive Asylum and an executive of research development for the Murkoff Corporation. Trager was also a close friend with Jeremy Blair, as Waylon finds a document which proves that they were companions and used to golf together. Prior to the events of OUTLAST and OUTLAST, whistleblower mitigation officers Pauline Glick and Paul Marion are called in to investigate an HR complaint at Mount Massive. When the Pauls meet Trager, he is acting jovially, claiming to be a team player and wanting the two of them to be on Team Rick. Rick also harasses the female investigator multiple times. Trager claims that no one in his department is responsible for the leaks. During the conversation, Marion secretly signals the Glick that he considers Trager to be dirty as hobo shit. To get more information, Glick asks Trager whether the two of them could meet for dinner. Trager accepts. While dining at a restaurant, Trager explains that as a child his father tried to convince him not to become a doctor. Afterwards, Trager drives Pauline back to his place, where he offers her cocaine. When she declines, he offers her scotch, which she also declines in favor of red wine. While Trager is busy getting the wine from his cellar, Pauline searches his house and finds Trager's internet passwords, magazine guides on how to perform surgery, and a pamphlet for an abortion clinic. While drinking, Pauline recognizes a sour taste and realizes that Trager spiked her drink with rohypnol. Pauline responds by pulling her gun on Trager and points it at his genitals, forcing him to drink the rest of the drugged scotch. Trager passes out almost immediately. Pauline then calls Paul to pick her up from Trager's house. After leaving Trager's house, Pauline calls Paul, and the two confront pregnant Murkoff employee Michelle Haas as the source of the leaked information. Michelle reveals that Trager raped her and got her pregnant. Trager had then forced her to either get an abortion or to get fired, as she could tell no one without the risk of Trager firing her, and she could not take care of a child without her job. Michelle had decided to send the email with the hope that Trager would be blamed and fired. Paul then made sure a severance package was made for Michelle in exchange for her silence. This way, Michelle was able to keep her child and would be able to take care of it without working for Murkoff. Michelle agreed, but when she visited Jeremy Blair with the investigators to revoke her security clearance, a furious Trager stormed into the room, calling the two investigators lying bitches. Claiming that Michelle cannot prove anything, he grabbed a pair of scissors from a nearby table and viciously stabbed her in the stomach multiple times, severely wounding Michelle in the process. Paul then attacked Trager and took him to the ground. In the scuffle, Trager accidentally stabbed himself in the leg with scissors, and Pauline subsequently grabbed Trager by the neck and ran his head against a paper shredder, ripping out his long hair and scarring his scalp in the process. Afterward, Trager was apprehended and taken in as an inmate and used as a test subject for the morphogenic engine, despite having been his friend. Blair personally watched when Trager was dragged into the machine kicking and screaming, and smiled sadistically while watching. During the Mount Massive Asylum incident, he improvised himself as a surgeon and started cutting up staff members to cut corners. Dr. Trager, much like the rest of the asylum's inhabitants, is a sadistic and mass-murdering psychopath, but his psyche and mental ability appears to operate in a highly functional way that proves he still has a grasp of reality, even if only slight. Because of this, he is more than capable of thinking, planning, and other things, such as tricking Miles into entering the dumbwaiter so he can gain access to him. It's possible that this is how Trager lures his victims. Additionally, he is capable of both intelligent and coherent speech, much like Eddie Gluskin, speaking to Miles in a friendly tone and addressing him mockingly as Buddy. He either enjoys pretending to be a surgeon or has been driven to believe that he actually is one, and has a habit of collecting body parts from his patients, e.g. a tongue because he was tired of licking his own stamps, and Miles' ring and index fingers because he desired to sell them. Trager appears to be an atheist or is at least irreligious, claiming that God died with the gold standard, and that we're on to more concrete faiths now. His views on religion put him at odds with Father Martin, for whom he harbors great disdain.